Good Monday, neighbors. It's the first work day of December. Back to it for some. Institutions. What is that idea? What is that word? That's that bigger entity that does something specific. Maybe has a responsibility within a social structure. So those things exist out there. I think it's something created in law probably, but they might just be corporations or charitable corporations, because that's how these things exist, is on paper. So these institutions have to exist. They do exist. They already do. And they have to because they contain an understanding of something that's maybe beyond somebody's normal reckoning. Institutions. So what would those things be? Colleges are institutions, right? Institutions of higher learning. Some of them are institutions of ignorant learning. Let's face it, that's what's out there. And our tax dollars shouldn't fund that crap. Other institutions. Environmental Protection Agency. And within your state, you're going to find a level of that type of institutions. It's going to be the DEQ somewhere, Department of Environmental Quality, Department of Environmental Protection. Every state has that organization in it because the states really are tasked with monitoring their states. It comes out of that states' rights argument to pollute, right? Every state's special because they're that special. So their pollution is only worried about in their state if they want to worry about it. But the downwinders, the downstreams, the downrivers, the down aquifers, the upwinders, the overwinders, these things add up. So what's happened is these states are meant to enforce guidelines and rules and laws that are traceable up to a federal level and larger institutions. Institutions with different specific resources and tools to study. So here you come back in. CDC is an institution. Our libraries are institutions. These are bigger serving entities of the community that should be held in public trust, not private. These are the institutions that help create the sciences, that pay preachers to share their spiel on television, to get them the corporate jet. See, this dichotomy in understanding is a challenge here for us. The people that know better, and yet they do this because it's a piece of churn in society. Churn, this, some people like to think of it as chaos or entropy, or so you can go there a lot of different ways. So where is this coming back to in my pollution stories? Decades ago, we began creating libraries and knowledge of what these chemicals, what these elements, what these substances do in the environment. We have books, newer, thicker, fresher than many others, that list harm, that speak to the potential harm, the known harm, the absolute harm. Some of these things will kill us, and it's in those books. It's in a database somewhere. This is what we have been doing for a long, long time. This is where, who was the guy that quoted Shiva. Share that quote below. So these are what institutionally we learned, and we have learned. It's interesting, if you chase our sciences back, Europe was so far ahead of us in the sciences. Most of our science came from Europe because it's a shared body of knowledge. It is a built upon understanding of how to make nuclear weapons. Inside the Manhattan Project, the Manhattan Project's most progress was made when some of the leaders got to talk to other institutions in other countries about how they were making atomic weapons. This was going on before I was born. These discussions were had. So someone understands this very well. So these institutions have buffered themselves. They've created towers that are kind of hard to sustain. How do you build back respect for these? People have been put these threads of doubts, these thoughts, these insecurities into their understandings of what life itself does. So you can't understand the decisions being made. When a mine is put into a state, it might only be a county approving that mine. This is a nuclear game that the nuclear industry is trying to play, saying a county can select to have nuclear reactors, and the well-paying jobs that come with those nuclear follies. And that county decides for a state. That county decides for downwinders. This is where this is. This is not conversations in the media about the future of, say, the nation's energy infrastructure. Energy, huge word. Energy includes the gas pipelines, the electricity wires, the cables, the over-the-road trucks that bring the food to your shelves, that give you the energy to turn the video camera on the next day. These large human cycles. Get used to it. We are terraforming the planet. It's not a scary word, shouldn't be. Maybe there's a better word for it, but we consume. Every person born is committed to 500 pounds a year of food. I don't know the number. Pick a number. That's the commitment of the planet to that person. Or not. Or it's different than that. It certainly isn't simpler than that. Do we need those institutions?